This is my man Jordan. You wanted to be in the vlog?
Fuck yeah, dude.
I'm at the gas station. I'm filling up.
Shout out to Andy fucking Watson because...
Shout out to Andy fucking Watson.
Because he went to go pick up his girlfriend.
Good afternoon and welcome to the channel. We are starting off this vlog getting a little diesel. No, I don't want a receipt. Yes, I will put my cap back on. All right, we got her all filled up on diesel, and now we got something important to talk about. Today we're doing an in-car vlog or an in-truck vlog, and if you've never seen one of these before from me, if you haven't been with the channel for a long time, these are a lot like Salamandrin's Let's Talk About Cars Yo episodes, and I've done these. I used to do them a lot. I used to do them like, well, every video at one point used to be an in-car vlog. Nowadays, I do a different type of video, but I still like to go back to my roots every now and then, and I feel like it's appropriate for today's topic. I would normally want to do this in the Corvette, but of course the Corvette is still broken and at the dealership, and I'm not sure when I'm going to get it back. So we are in fact in the Duramax. What we're talking about is the 2019 or 2020, but what I think is the 2021 mid-engine Corvette, if it is a Corvette at all, but we'll talk about that in a second. Now, we have some spy shots that surfaced on the internet recently, thanks to our friends at Car and Driver, that I will show you now. And you can see, boys, those spy shots do not lie. Whatever car that is, the engine is definitely in the back. So if it's a Corvette, now there's been talk whether it might be a Corvette or a Cadillac. Now here's the thing, for me, if it's a Cadillac, you know, it's gonna be cool, but that will be disappointing because if it is a Cadillac, I'm not gonna buy it. I would buy a Corvette, not buying a Caddy. I know it seems kind of silly because it's all GM anyway, what's the difference? But it's the same reason why I would buy a Chevy Silverado but not a GMC, just not my thing. If it is a Corvette, and again, hopefully it is, I think it's going to be the C8 Corvette, and that will just be the base model for the next generation. A lot of people, about 2 years ago when these mid-engine rumors first kind of started, well, the mid-engine rumors when it comes to Corvette have been around for like 50 years, but people have been talking a little bit more seriously about it. Nice Porsche Boxster. It's not called the Boxster anymore, is it? It's like the 915, 914, I don't fucking. Mid-engine Corvette rumors have been around since like the 60s. You could argue that the original intent of the Corvette design was to be a mid-engine car, but really, in modern times, it's gotten a little bit more serious. And I think that, yeah, now I think that it's really becoming a reality. Back to what I was saying, about 2 years ago, people thought that the mid-engine car was going to be the C7 ZR1, and then the new ZR1 would be sold alongside current C7 Corvettes with the front engine layout, and then eventually all Corvettes would be mid-engine. But I don't think they're going to do that. I think that the ZR1 here for the C7, which I'm getting, by the way, I got one on the way, the mid-engine Corvette is going to be sold right after the ZR1, and I think the ZR1 for the 7th generation is only going to be around for about 2 years. It's coming out in 2018, maybe later in 2018 as a 2019 model, but usually Chevrolet does that. They wait pretty long in the year to release their big cars. Like the 2017 ZL1 actually wasn't released until 2017, which is kind of abnormal. A lot of times, you know, you'll have a car that's a 2019 model year, right? But it's released in 2018. Chevrolet doesn't really like to do that. So I think that the current ZR1, like the one that I am getting at some point here within 5 or 6 months, I think that's going to be sold as a 2018, in late 2018, and then it's going to go on for the 2019 model year, and then maybe 2020. That's why I kind of think the C8 is going to be a 2021 model. A lot of people are thinking, oh, it's going to be a 2019. I don't think so. I think that's pretty early to see an all-new Corvette. After all, the C7 only came out in 2014, which means that by 2019 it would only be around for 5 years. Seems like a lot of research and time and development, money and effort to only have a car for 5 years, but could be 2019, 2020. Again, I do think 2021. Cars these days their life cycles are a lot shorter. You know, the C4 Corvette was around for like 14 or 15 years. The C6 was around for 8 years, and now the C7 might only be around for 5 or 6. You look at all the big supercar and sports car brands, they got new shit coming out like every 2 to 3 years. And that's just the nature of the game. That's just the competition in the vehicle industry today. Why, after going on 70 years of the engine being in the front, why now are we going to change to the middle? Well, there's a couple of reasons. Number one, I think Chevy wants to compete with the Corvette on the level more directly with McLaren and Ferrari and Lamborghini and whatnot. Now, we all know that performance-wise, the C7 and the Z06 and the upcoming ZR1, which is going to be a monster, I think it's going to run under 7 minutes at the ring. We all know that performance-wise, the Corvette has been there with supercars for a long time now. It's just that they don't really compete. You know, you wouldn't cross-shop. If you're shopping for like a McLaren, you're probably not going to look at a Z06 or even a ZR1. If you're shopping for a Lambo, you're not going to look at a Corvette. Even if you're shopping for a pretty direct competitor to the Corvette like the 911, that's probably two different buyers, and I think Corvette wants to capture that market. Now, for a front engine car, even if the performance is there, it's just not quite as special. You know, when you move the engine to the back, you get a lot more freedom design-wise, you can make it look a little cooler, and it's just going to be more exotic. It's going to be more unique, and I think the buyers of those other cars want that. If you have the performance, which Corvette does, and now you're going to have the look too, that is a recipe for success. It's also going to help to bring in that younger audience. What in the world is this? Is that an otter? What the hell? It's a groundhog? What are you doing? What are you doing? What's he doing? The mid-engine layout is going to, this is why I can't do vlogs. I get, like, look at these distractions. Who else has to deal with this? It is also going to help bring in that younger audience. I had a meeting with Ed Wellburn, Chief of Design at GM recently, about a couple months ago on the channel. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. It's a great one. And he said the entire time he was designing the C7 Corvette, he had this idea in the back of his head, and that was that the average age of the Corvette buyer was going up and sales were going down. Now, the harsh reality is Corvette owners, the typical Corvette buyer, is dying out. It sounds terrible, but it is true. And the C7 did a fantastic job of bringing in a lot of younger people, but they want to continue that trend. And with a mid-engine Corvette, I think that you know, that would definitely excite a lot of people who never cared about Corvettes at all. You know, I can't tell you already with the C7 how many times people come up to me when I'm in the car and they say, you know, I never liked Corvettes until this one. And it's usually younger people. And older people are going to be upset about the mid-engine, no doubt, just like they were with the C7. When it first came out, everyone was like, the old guys were like, oh, the taillights are terrible, they should be round, and it's way too angular, it looks awful, and it looks like a Lamborghini, and how bad that is, and all that shit. And now guess what? The C7, everyone loves it, and when it first came out, I was blown away, you know, right off the bat. I loved it. And that brings me to my second concern about the car, which is, now the first was that it's going to be sold only as a Cadillac, which I don't want to happen. But my second thing, my second issue kind of is, from the shots I've seen so far, and you can't tell much, but from what I've seen so far, I'm not loving the looks. And again, it is heavily, heavily camouflaged. And when these guys driving the prototype saw that somebody was taking pictures of it, from a drone, by the way. Drones changing the game when it comes to spying on cars and everything else, which is somewhat scary. But when they saw that people were taking pictures with the drone, they got out, immediately covered it, so you know that they're definitely hiding something. It's pretty serious. But that's all I wanted to say. You know, from what I've seen so far, I'm not loving it. The back end just looks a little bit weird. I think the front could look pretty cool, almost like a Zonda, from what I can tell. I'm not going to make a judgment just yet, but it just has to look good. Some of the technical stuff. What are we going to see engine-wise? Well, I think we're going to see a version of the LT5, which is going to be in the new ZR1. Now, the LT5 is going to be a 6.2 liter, of course, supercharged V8, but the rumor is it's going to be a dual overhead cam. Of course, Chevy engines now, and usually have been in the past, with a few exceptions, have been pushrod layouts. If the C7 ZR1 does in fact have this LT5 dual overhead cam supercharged V8, I think the base model C8 is going to have the NA version of that motor, and it should have about 500 ponies. The trans might be a little bit interesting, might be only automatic, might finally be a dual clutch, might be auto and manual, not sure. My guess is that it will be at some point automatic only, but I think for the base model C8, we're definitely going to still see the manual as an option. Corvette C5, not bad. 80-90 grand, still going to be very affordable, but a little bit more expensive from the current base price, which is like in the low 50s. Now for the big question, the one everybody wants to know. Mike, are you getting one? And the answer is yes, of course I'm getting one. I'm the Corvette collector on YouTube. I have to get one. I have no idea when it's gonna come out. I have no information on it other than what's out there right now on the internet, which is of course 100% reliable. But rest assured, when I do get more info, I will be updating you. That is going to do it for this upload, but I hope that you enjoyed. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. If you are stopping in for the first time, please subscribe. Take care. Have a great day.